be annotating our narrative poem. An annotation is a note or comment added to a text to provide explanation or criticism about a particular part of it. An annotation can also refer to the act of annotating, which is adding pictures, comments, personal connections, etc. to a document to help process it on a deeper level.
The Pied Piper of Hamelin. Today we're going to read the first 1/3 of our poem, which will be 5 stanzas. We'll be drawing images that visually represent the sensory details to help us understand what's happening in the text. We're going to be looking at poetic elements, making personal connections, and doing everything we can to process this narrative poem on a deeper level. So let's start by looking at the title of our narrative poem, The Pied Piper of Hamelin. Here we see pied, which already is going to remind us of our vocabulary word piebald. And piebald, we know, is something that has a spotted pattern to it. So we're thinking, okay, the Pied Piper of Hamelin, this is going to be a character. Perhaps he has some type of spotted pattern to his clothing. When we see piper, what does this make you think of? Here I'm thinking of maybe like an instrument. And we're just making some predictions about what we're going to see here. Hamelin I'm unfamiliar with perhaps, so I could put a note to maybe look this up later. Is this real? Is this imaginary? I don't know, so I'll have to look that up later. All right, let's see what else we can see just at the very beginning at the top. Without even getting to our poem yet, we're seeing Robert Browning as our author, and we actually know a little bit about Robert Browning because we did our exploratory web quest on the author. So what do we know? You could list some type of fact that you remember about the author from our web quest. So we know that he was a poet, but also that he wrote plays. So perhaps that's going to come into play here. Perhaps he's going to write this kind of as a play with characters kind of performing. We know that he married Elizabeth Browning, who was also a poet. Anything you can remember from your web quest, you can make a little note there. And then we're also seeing here his life to death dates. And what does this tell us? This tells us this was written in the Victorian era. The Victorian literary era. And we know that from, again, our exploratory web quest. So let's list something here that we know about the Victorian literary era. We know that these usually teach a lesson. That's the main key component of a Victorian piece of literature, is it's meant to teach a lesson. So we're thinking maybe we're going to see a lesson being taught here in this narrative poem. Okay, so that is us dissecting and analyzing and annotating just the title and the author and the date that this was published in. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at stanza 1. And we know that stanzas are groups of lines. We know that from our poetic element review. Okay, so let's get to reading. Stanza 1, The Pied Piper of Hamelin. Hamelin town's in Brunswick by famous Hanover city. The river Weser, deep and wide, washes its wall on the southern side. A pleasanter spot you've never spied. But when begins my ditty, almost 500 years ago, to see the townsfolk suffer so from vermin was a pity. Okay, So let's go ahead and divide this first stanza off from the rest of our poem so we can focus here. Let's go ahead and on our first stanza label a rhyme scheme here. So Brunswick is going to be our A. Brunswick city, no. Brunswick wide, Brunswick side, Brunswick spied, Brunswick ditty, a go, so pity, no. Okay, city is going to be our B, so now we're looking at the last word on the other lines to see if anything rhymes with city. City wide, city side, city spied, city ditty, yes. City go, no. City so, no. City pity, yes. Wide is going to be our C. Wide side, yes. Wide spied, yes. A go, no. That's going to be our D. A go and so. So our rhyme scheme for stanza 1 is going to be A, B, C, 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 B, D, D, and B. That's our rhyme scheme. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. Let's label a line. This is a line, looking at poetic elements. Okay, let's get into actual content here. So what are we seeing? Hamelin town is by a famous city. There is a river that is deep and wide. It has a wall on the southern side. It's a pleasant spot. Here we have a vocabulary word. And this vocabulary word we know is a song. So here our narrator is singing this. Singing us a tale, and we see here that this was 500 years ago, the setting. So the setting is in the past. This is taking place past tense. So we're going to put that somewhere. Okay, and we've got a huge problem here. It's a beautiful place, it's a pleasant spot, you've never seen a better spot, but the problem is the townsfolk are suffering from vermin. What are vermin? Vermin are rats. Okay, so I'm going to do a little illustration here. We know that this has a deep and wide river, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that. We know that there is a wall that is bordering the southern side of the town. So I'm going to draw that. Your illustrations, they don't have to be perfect, but we just want to get a visual to help us picture what's happening. Alright, so I'm going to color my wall down here. And what else do we know so far? There's a city that this river is bordering, so I'm going to quickly draw my city here. Now remember, this is a city in the 1800s, and really it's 500 years before the 1800s. So the city is not going to look like a modern day city. Okay, so we have our city. It's a pleasant spot. You've never seen a more pleasant place before. But unfortunately, the townsfolk, they are suffering from vermin. So we want to represent that here. So you would think that the people that are living here are super happy because it's a beautiful, pleasant place. But I'm gonna draw townsfolk here. They are upset. They are not having a good time because of the vermin, the rats. So we're gonna just draw a little rat here. Okay, they are suffering. So that is our annotation for the first stanza. So let's continue to stanza 2. And we can divide this off from the rest of our poem so we can focus. Okay, stanza 2. Rats! They fought the dogs and killed the cats and bit the babies in the cradles and ate the cheeses out of the vats and licked the soup from the cook's own ladles. Split open the kegs of salted sprats, made nests inside men's Sunday hats, even spoiled the women's chats by drowning their speaking with shrieking and squeaking in 50 different sharps and flats. Okay, so this is not a small rat problem. This is a big rat problem. So let's take a look at some poetic elements first. So let's do a rhyme scheme here. We have cats, and we'll just start a new rhyme scheme on our stanza 2. Cats and vats and sprats and hats and chats and flats. These are all A. Then we have cradles, ladles, and we have speaking and squeaking. So our stanza 2 rhyme scheme is going to be A, B, A, B, A, C, C, A. All right, so just like comparing, we have 3 lines in a row that have a rhyme scheme, and looking back here on our first stanza, we also had 3 lines in the middle that had the same rhyme scheme. So we're seeing kind of a pattern here with Robert Browning. Okay, so let's look for important content here, things that we can illustrate and visualize. So rats, they fought the dogs and killed the cats. So these are violent. They are violent rats. They are not simply just like eating the food. So here, we'll make a note of that. They're violent. They're fighting dogs. And also, think about this. If they are fighting dogs, these things must be huge. Giant rats. All right, so let's see. What else? They are biting babies. Again, this shows that they are violent. They are eating cheeses. They're eating all of their food. They're licking soup. They are splitting open kegs, and they are eating that. So they're just eating all of the food in the town. They are splitting open the kegs of sprats. Yes, we said that. They're making nests inside men's Sunday hats. So they are everywhere. They're spoiling women's chats by drowning their speaking with shrieking and squeaking. So they are super loud. They're super violent. They're everywhere. So let's do an illustration over here that can visually represent this. So I like the visual of them making the nests inside the men's Sunday hats. So I'm going to draw a Victorian hat. Here we go. And I'm going to draw a little rat nest on top here. And we'll draw some rats in it. All right. And then I'm going to draw a guy down here. Remember, these are Victorian men, so I gotta give him a mustache. And he's going to be very concerned. What else? They are eating the food, so let's draw a rat eating some of the food. I'm gonna have him chilling on this guy's hat. And so what are they eating? They're eating the cheeses. They're eating the soups. So you can draw something like that. And we know that they're being super, super loud. So I'm going to represent that here too. All right, so he's squeaking super, super loudly. Okay, so that is stanza 2. Let's go ahead and move to stanza 3. Stanza 3. We're going to annotate this one. These are Roman numerals, so we're just going to add our numbers so we can find things. Okay, and we're going to divide this so that we can focus on just one stanza at a time. At last the people in a body to the town hall came flocking. "'Tis clear," they cried, "our mayor's a naughty. And as for the corporation, shocking. To think we buy gowns lined with ermine for dolts that can't or won't determine what's best to rid us of our vermin. You hope because you're old and obese to find in fury civic robe ease? Rouse up, sirs, give your brains a racking to find the remedy we're lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing." At this the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. Okay, so far we have this beautiful, amazing town. You've never seen a more pleasant spot. And the townspeople are suffering. They're sad. There's rats everywhere. This is a huge rat problem. They're making nests inside their clothing. They're eating their foods. They're violent. They're hurting dogs, and they're killing cats. I mean, this is a big rat problem. And so the townspeople here, they are fed up. They are coming to the mayor, and they're like, why are you not doing your job? And why are you not coming up with a solution to rid our town of rats? And here our mayor is getting very nervous because there is basically a mob happening here that's saying either you solve this problem or we're kicking you out of the town. All right, so let's do a little rhyme scheme action here. We have body, naughty. That looks like all for those rhyming words. Let's do flocking, shocking. All right, ermine, determine, ermine, determine, vermin. Okay, obese and east. Racking, lacking, packing, corporation, consternation. Okay, so our rhyme scheme for stanza 3. A, B, A, B, C, 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 D, D, E, 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 F, and F. So looking back, our last stanza started with A, B, A, B, or A, B, A, B, yeah. And this one also starts with A, B, A, B. And then remember, we have the repetition of 3 lines in a row, and we actually have that occurring twice here. So we are seeing a pattern here with Robert Browning. Okay, so let us take a look at the important content that we are going to illustrate here. The important happenings. The people in a body came to the town hall flocking. So we have an angry mob. And they are saying, basically, our mayor's a naughty. He's not very good at his job. To think we're paying all of this money. We're buying these gowns lined with ermine, and we're spending all this money on them. And they don't even know what's best to rid us of our vermin. They're not even doing anything. And so they are attacking this guy. They're basically saying, you're old, you're obese, and you're not doing anything. So we're saying, rouse up, everyone, and you better start thinking and giving your brain a racking here. You have to find the remedy we're lacking, or sure as fate will send you packing. At this, the mayor and corporation quaked with a mighty consternation. Here, consternation is one of our vocabulary words, and we know that consternation is going to be dread. So this right here is a threat from the mob. They are saying either you find a solution to the rat problem or we're kicking you out. And obviously the mayor is having some serious feels about this. All right, so we're going to illustrate our mayor, and then we're going to show the mob basically coming to threaten him. So we know that this is a big guy. We know that he has these fancy suits that were purchased basically by the townspeople, because he's using their money for that, and they're very upset about it. He's Victorian, so we're going to give him a little top hat. Again, all of these worried looks. He's very nervous here. I'm also going to give him a nice little mustache. Give him some hair. Alrighty, so we have our mayor. Sometimes students like to give our little mayor a monocle. I don't know. I think it's kind of Victorian. We'll put it in a pocket. Alright, so here's our mayor. And now we get to draw an angry mob. The angry mob coming after him. So usually when I'm drawing a lot of people. I just do like a lot of circles to represent like all of the people, and then we'll draw a couple up front to show that this is an angry mob. Some faces. Oh, this guy's angry. Okay, so up front here, what do you think of when you think of angry mob? Whoa, he's really angry. I'm gonna give him like a little pitchfork, and then I'm gonna give another guy. Oh wow, he's so mad. I'm going to give him a little torch. I feel like that's what an angry mob looks like. Alright, and let's give them some dialogue. What are they saying here? Paraphrasing. Fix the rat problem. Or leave. I'm throwing a lot of exclamation points in there because they are mad. And then our mayor is quaking. He's shaking with a consternation, with dread. Give him a little nervous. There we go. All right, so that's our stanza 3. So quick recap. We've got a beautiful town, the town of Hamelin. It is taking place, our setting is taking place in the past 500 years ago. The townspeople are upset. They're suffering from a rat problem. It's not a small rat problem, it's a huge rat problem. They're eating their food, they're fighting their dogs, they're killing their cats, they're making nests inside their clothing, they're everywhere. And so finally, the mob of townsfolk, they get fed up, they're just over it, and they flood the town hall, and they go to the mayor, and they threaten him, either fix our rat problem or we're kicking you out, mayor. And the mayor is nervous. All right, here we go. Stanza 4. Stanza 4. So again, we're going to put here the number because we have Roman numerals here. Okay, so we are just focusing on stanza 4 right now. An hour they sat in council. At length the mayor broke silence. For a guilder I'd my ermine gown sell. I wish I were a mile hence. It's easy to bid one rack one's brain. I'm sure my poor head aches again. I've scratched it so, and all in vain. Oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. Just as he said this, what should hap? At the chamber door, but a gentle tap. Bless us, cried the mayor, what's that? With the corporation as he sat, looking little through wondrous fat, nor brighter was his eye, nor moister than a too long opened oyster, save when at noon his paunch grew mutinous for a plate of turtle green and gluttonous, only a scraping of shoes on the mat. Anything like the sound of a rat makes my heart go pit-a-pat. Okay, there's a lot of difficult language here. So let's dissect what we do know. So here, right here, guilder, this is one of our vocabulary words. This is money pre the euro. And what else can we pull out just looking here? Here we have a poetic element. We have some repetition. This is emphasizing something that he wants. Gentle tap. We have a little rapping at the door. This is some sensory language. His eye was moister than a too long open oyster. This is an analogy. We have a comparison of things. Again, we have sound. This is an onomatopoeia. Scraping, same thing. Okay, so let's take a look at what we are going to be illustrating. So, an hour the council sat there, and they're trying to come up with a solution to the rat problem. So after an hour, the mayor finally says, man, I wish I were a mile hence. I wish I weren't even here. I don't even want to be the mayor anymore. He's saying it's easy to tell someone to think about a solution, but I'm trying to do it. He's like, my poor head, it aches because I've scratched it all and all in vain. So has he come up with a solution? No. The mayor's been thinking. But he has no solution. and he wants someone to come up with an idea. And he's like, oh, for a trap, a trap, a trap. I wish that I could come up with a trap for all of these rats. But he just doesn't have any ideas. So just as he's about to give up, at the chamber door, there is a gentle tap. So when he is going to give up, there's a knock at the door. And so then he's saying, oh my gosh, that sounded like a rat. That sound of the door knocking was like a rat, and it's making my heart go pit-a-pat. So this is showing that he's nervous, right? He's having like anxiety here. So what is the most important piece here that we really need to take from stanza 4? The mayor is unsuccessful in coming up with a solution. He cannot do it himself. He's really thinking about it. He's got nothing. Just as he's about to give up, there's a knock at the door. So we're going to get a new character that's coming in as trying to solve the problem. So here, let's draw the most important thing from this stanza, which is there is a knock at the door and someone is coming to solve the mayor's problem, because he obviously cannot do it himself. And then maybe let's draw the mayor just like unable to come up with a solution. All right, so that is stanza 4. Mayor's thinking, he's got nothing. He has no solution to the problem. All right, so now we have stanza 5. This is our last stanza for today. Okay, so remember, Mayor's in a panic. He's having anxiety. He's going to get kicked out of the town and no longer be mayor if he can't solve the rat problem. He's about to give up. He's got nothing. When just as he's about to give up, there is a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Let's see who it's going to be. "Come in," the mayor cried, looking bigger. And in did come the strangest figure. His queer long coat from heel to head was half of yellow and half of red, and he himself was tall and thin, with sharp blue eyes, each like a pin, and light loose hair, yet swarthy skin, no tuft on cheek nor beard on chin, but lips where smiles went out and in. There was no guessing his kith and kin, and nobody could enough admire the tall man and his quaint attire. Quoth one, "It's as if my great-grandsire, starting up at the trump of doom's tone, had walked this way from his painted tombstone." All right, we've got a new character coming in, and he's looking crazy. So let's do a little rhyme scheme on this one. So this one we have bigger, figure, head, red, thin, pin, skin, chin, in, kin, admire, attire, grandsire, tone, stone, tombstone. So here we have A, B, B, C, 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 C. Oh my goodness. D, 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 E, E. So here, look at this. So much repetition right here and here. Cool. All right, let's take a look at key features for us to illustrate with our new character. So our new character is very quaint. And I believe that that is in here. Yep, quaint. This is our vocabulary word. So if something is quaint, it is strange. But usually this has positive connotation. So it's strange, but it's a good strange. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at all of the different pieces that we can illustrate. So come in, the mayor cried. Strange figure. Okay, he has a queer long coat from heel to head, half of yellow, half of red. He himself is tall and thin, sharp blue eyes, light loose hair, swarthy skin. Oh, swarthy is another vocabulary word. He does not have a beard. He has lips that are smiling. And we have like a strange thing happening here. This one guy stands up and he says, hey, quoth one, hey, that looks like my great-grandfather coming back from his tombstone. This guy is suggesting that this guy is like basically the dead come back to life. He's like, I recognize him, I know him, that's my deceased great-grandfather. So can we believe that? I don't know, but that's like a comment that's being made by one of the people. Okay, and then I do want to draw attention to our one vocabulary word in here. Swarthy. It's another vocab word. Swarthy is a dark complexion. Okay, so let's go ahead and illustrate this guy. So we know that he has a little bit darker of skin. We know that he's very tall. We know that he has a very strange coat on. We know he has bright blue eyes. No beard. Very specific. So, piercing blue eyes. Whoops. That's fine. I'm keeping it. I like it. Alright, we're gonna give him a creepy smile. Alright, this is gonna get a little weird looking, but that's good. Okay, no beard, nothing like that. So, we know that he is wearing a coat of half red, and he's very tall and thin, and this goes up over his head too because it says from heel to head. Oh my goodness. Okay, half red, the other half is yellow. Okay. This is a very quaint vesture. Oh my, that looks okay. Actually, we know that he has loose hair, light loose hair. So let's give him some hair sticking out of his special coat. That looks like loose hair. That's what we want. All right, and I'm gonna give him some hands. course. Oh my. Okay. Well, there we go, people. This is our this is our new character. So, knocks at the door, and this is who walks in. So let me ask you a question. You are the mayor. You're having a bad day. You're trying to come up with a solution to your problem. Trying to get rid of the rats. You're about to give up. There's a knock at the door. This guy comes walking in. What are you going to do? What are you going to think? All right, so this is our first 1/3 of our narrative poem. So we're going to pick this back up tomorrow with our second video. So at this point, you should have stanzas 1 through 5 annotated with me, with drawings and rhyme schemes and pulling out some stuff here. So, all right, we will see you tomorrow for part 2.